Okay, this is the year. This is the year that we're going to make lasting change. And I'm going to give you a few tips for how you can change your approach so that you can actually make that lasting change. Now, being the beginning of the year, I'm sure you've already made those amazing goals, resolutions, targets, wish lists, whatever you want to call it. And no doubt you've probably even tried to jump right into them and give them a go. Now, what I want you to do is that before you get too discouraged and think that you've already failed and that you're not going to make those goals, I want you to pause for a second and I want you to set up your expectations a little bit differently. As humans, we think that everything needs to be done so quickly and so fast, and yet the reality is, if we really want to make true, lasting change that makes a difference to our lives, it can often take a little bit more of a process. Now, I don't want to put a time frame on it because we're all different, and really whatever's right for you will be right for you. But I just want you to know that 2 days of giving your goal a go is not enough usually to bring it into fruition. Now, the second part that I want to talk about is that how you approach your goals, because quite often what we do is that we want to make these grand sweeping changes for how we go about making that change. So let's say, for instance, an example, if you've got a fitness goal that you want to achieve this year. Now, quite often what we do is that we'll go out and we'll absolutely smash ourselves in that first routine, thinking I need to be there straight away. Now, all that's going to do, especially if you haven't had a fitness regime before now, you're going to get injuries, you're going to absolutely exhaust your body, and you're probably going to feel a little bit deflated about actually going ahead. So in the book, Atomic Habits, and it's a brilliant book, it's by James Clear, what he talks about is actually creating these tiny habits. Now, what happens with tiny habits is rather than us going out there and trying to achieve these great big things, we take the habit and we take it into a teeny tiny amount. So let's say, as an example, if you want to do that fitness regime, right? Rather than absolutely hammering yourself at the gym or in a class and really, like I said, doing yourself injury, take that goal and I want you to change it and try literally doing 5 minutes of movement every day. 5 minutes, that's literally it. And I want you to, as you're doing that 5 minutes, right, allow your body to get so used to it that it becomes a habit. So what we start seeing is that when we take away the expectation of the size and the timing and all of those things away, and we start creating these tiny little habits, it means that our bodies can actually start to remember them. They become like a really solid muscle memory. Now, as you start to get into that space and you're like, I'm not even thinking about it, I'm getting up in the morning and I'm just literally walking around the block for 5 minutes, that's when you're able to extend that time to maybe 6 minutes or 7 minutes. But the key is, again, don't rush into it. We want to be able to see those tiny habits forming into those really strong muscle memory habits. Now, the other thing that I have as well as a tip is that I want you to imagine that you're going to actually superpower every single one of these tiny habits. So rather than just going, right, I'm going to go for a little 5 minute walk and you're dawdling and you're kind of, letting your brain move, you can do that as well. But I want you to, as you go to do that habit each day, I want you to also tell your subconscious how incredible it is that you're committing and making that tiny habit form into a strong muscle memory. So it might be even as you're putting on your shoes, even as you're putting on your leggings or your top or whatever, that you can say to yourself, I'm so proud of myself and I'm so proud of the change that I'm making in my body, in fitness, in the regime that I'm creating, and I can see myself and feel myself in the space of already being fit and healthy and strong. Now, when we do that, it's almost like actually literally taking a selenite wand or crystal and supercharging the power that you've got in that habit that you're forming. Now, if you take these 3 little tips and put them all together and add those into your goals, this is the way that you're going to be able to make lasting and incredible change for this year. So give it a go and I'll see you really soon. And if you liked this video, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you really soon.